In Rajagriha, disciples gathered under a massive banyan tree, eager to hear Buddha's teachings. He held a single grain of rice. "Observe this grain of rice," Buddha said, his voice calm yet profound, filling the air with a quiet resonance. This grain of rice embodies the labor of the farmer, the nurturing soil, the life-giving rain, the radiant sun. A disciple named Ananda approached and bowed low before the Buddha. "Master," he began, "our minds are restless." Buddha turned his gaze to the village fields stretching into the horizon. Brimming with rice ready for harvest, to eat mindlessly is to ignore the countless threads connecting the labor, love, and sacrifice sustaining our lives, Buddha said. "Ananda," he spoke, "do you see the sky stretching boundlessly?" Ananda nodded, his hands pressed together in reverence. "I see it, Master, vast and infinite, unbroken by walls or barriers." Mindful eating begins with awareness. Gratitude for the unseen forces shaping every bite we consume, Buddha explained. Inspiring contemplation, Ananda, always curious, raised a question. "Master, how can we cultivate this gratitude and mindful eating in everyday life?" Buddha smiled gently, appreciating Ananda's query as the foundation for deeper exploration of mindfulness and its transformative power. Begin by pausing before each meal, reflecting on the countless efforts bringing nourishment to your plate, Buddha instructed. When you eat, focus entirely on the act, observing flavors, textures, and sensations with full presence, Buddha continued. So too should the mind remain expansive and unentangled. Another disciple, Yashodhara, leaned forward and asked, "But Master, does modern connection not foster compassion, understanding, and unity?" Buddha's smile deepened, kind yet firm. Yashodhara, tools do not create compassion. Intention and awareness shape its existence. One disciple, Subhuti, spoke hesitantly. "Master, how does mindful eating influence our understanding of suffering and interconnectedness?" Buddha turned to Subhuti, his expression radiating wisdom and compassion, ready to guide his disciple toward deeper realization. Every bite contains both joy and suffering. Understanding this duality reveals the interconnectedness sustaining life, Buddha said, his voice tender. He elaborated, "The rain may be nourishing crops here but drowning fields elsewhere. Awareness encompasses life's blessings and struggles alike." Subhuti contemplated Buddha's words, his thoughts weaving connections between his own experiences and the teachings of his enlightened master. Buddha gestured to the rice fields, their golden expanse shimmering under the sun, embodying life's balance between effort and reward. To eat mindfully is to honor life's fragility and resilience. To perceive nourishment as a shared act of existence, Buddha said. The disciples watched villagers harvesting rice nearby, sensing for the first time the unspoken relationships linking effort, nature, and humanity. Buddha knelt beside the banyan tree, gathering soil in his hand, presenting it to his disciples with deliberate motion. This soil, supporting rice fields, symbolizes our connection to the earth and the nourishment it graciously provides, Buddha reflected. The disciples observed the soil, humbled by its simplicity and significance, resonating with Buddha's vision of interconnected existence. Buddha spoke, his words steady. For 1 hour each day, set aside distractions. He added, desires often cloud our perception, distancing us from true joy, gratitude, and balance in daily sustenance. Megha, intrigued, reflected deeply, seeing Buddha's teachings as both personal and universal truths guiding his spiritual journey. Master, will such a practice truly clear the clouds from our restless minds? Buddha answered gently, Ananda, a single drop of water does not nourish the earth, but rain softens even the hardest soil. The disciples murmured in understanding. their hearts opening like lotus petals touched by the morning sun. Generosity fosters compassion, sharing sustenance not just for the body but also for the soul, Buddha explained with profound insight. Villagers and disciples gathered around, each touched by the shared act of offering and its transformative energy of connection. It is small, yet profound in its transformation. The wind whispered through the banyan leaves, echoing the resolve in the disciples' hearts as they absorbed the teaching. Buddha concluded his teaching under the banyan tree, his disciples inspired to embrace mindfulness in every meal. Mindful eating emerged not just as practice but as a lens through which disciples perceived life's interconnected beauty. Kema, offer them compassion, not judgment. Led by example, for seeds grow only in nurtured soil. Under the shade of a peepal tree, they paused to rest, the rustling leaves echoing their shared silence. Buddha noticed a squirrel gathering nuts, nibbling one before storing others in a hollow tree trunk with measured diligence. A bird sang nearby, its melody pure and unrestrained. The Buddha gestured toward it. The disciples watched the squirrel, its movements graceful and purposeful, embodying simplicity and wisdom in its small acts. Likewise, Buddha said, gesturing to their food, we must eat with awareness, consuming neither too much nor too little. The forest stood silent, bearing witness to teachings as timeless as the stars shining above. Another day, another lesson unfolded beneath the ancient banyan tree in Jetavana Monastery. The disciples assembled as twilight settled. A gentle breeze carried scents of earth and blossoms. The stream's gentle current mirrored Buddha's words, flowing steadily and cleansing, much like mindfulness cleansing the mind of delusion. Buddha then narrated a parable about a farmer who over-harvested his fields, depleting the soil and inviting famine. The farmer, driven by greed, neglected balance and harmony, resulting in loss rather than abundance, Buddha shared thoughtfully. The disciples reflected on the story, seeing the consequences of imbalance and greed clearly through Buddha's vivid illustration. Buddha turned to the stream and said, balance flows like water, steady, unwavering, and essential for sustaining life. A disciple named Moggallana spoke, Master, sometimes desires feel overwhelming, making balance appear as an impossible ideal. What should we do? Buddha nodded with understanding and said, when desires overwhelm, sit in stillness, observe them, and let mindfulness dissolve their intensity. He gestured to the stream again, saying, water may surge after rain, but it always finds its balanced flow eventually. The disciples listened intently, their thoughts absorbed by the interplay of balance, mindfulness, and the natural world around them. Buddha encouraged them to partake in their meal, guiding them to chew slowly, savoring each bite with deliberate awareness. Master, how do we embody this harmony amidst constant digital demands? Buddha replied patiently, Subhuti, mindfulness is the anchor amidst the storm. A young villager approached, offering wild berries to Buddha and his disciples, her gesture embodying generosity and interconnectedness. Buddha accepted the berries with gratitude and said, this act of giving reflects the balance and compassion that sustains humanity. He shared the berries among his disciples, ensuring everyone received an equal portion, reinforcing the principle of equitable sharing. True balance includes sharing, understanding that abundance is not solitary but communal, Buddha explained, the message enriching their meal. Ananda, ever curious, asked, Master, does balance mean renouncing pleasure entirely, or can it coexist with mindful living? Buddha responded, balance does not deny pleasure but embraces it wisely, ensuring it aligns with awareness, gratitude, and harmony. The disciples pondered this, understanding that balance integrated both joy and restraint, cultivating an enriched yet mindful existence. He continued, Use technology with mindful care, ensuring it nurtures compassion and wisdom, not craving or confusion. The disciples listened as the sound of rustling leaves mingled with Buddha's words. Take lessons from nature, Buddha said. Its rhythm teaches us patience, moderation, and interdependence in the simplest, most profound ways. The disciples meditated by the stream, the sound of water soothing their thoughts, reinforcing the lessons of balance and stillness. Let every choice reflect the principles of truth, simplicity, and presence. Yashodhara stepped forward and bowed. Master, how do we embrace these principles while engaging responsibly with the digital world? Buddha picked up a smooth pebble from the riverbank. Yashodhara, let actions ripple like this pebble in water, spreading calm and goodness. The journey to Varanasi became a journey inward, enriching their spirits with lessons from the stream, the squirrel, and their master. Another day, another city greeted Buddha and his disciples as they arrived in bustling Sravasti. Surrounded by lively streets, Buddha noticed a stark contrast: lavish feasts in some homes, while others struggled with hunger and desperate glances. He addressed Ananda, saying, "The imbalance of abundance and scarcity here speaks of interconnected suffering requiring mindful, compassionate action. Sujata, the stars do not struggle to shine. They simply fulfill their purpose," he added. Align your actions with purpose and balance. These children remind us, Buddha said, mindful eating must expand beyond self to serve those who suffer quietly. Yearning for sustenance, Buddha offered his bowl of rice to a child, who accepted it gratefully, her joy illuminating the humble surroundings. Master, how do we resist the allure of constant distraction and regain focus on the present? Buddha picked up the lotus petals scattered by the stream. Ananda, every moment holds beauty if you pause to perceive it. Buddha addressed them. Understand this act as an expression of balance and unity, intertwining life's interconnected threads into shared nourishment. A villager approached Buddha, asking, Master, does compassion through giving diminish our own sustenance or strength? Buddha replied, compassion does not weaken but strengthens, transforming abundance into shared joy and scarcity into unity. He added, to give is not loss. It is the opening of hearts, reinforcing the bonds of human connection. Buddha led the group in sharing food until every villager found nourishment, their smiles reflecting gratitude and collective harmony. Among them, a disciple named Sudanthaka questioned, Master, can we sustain compassion amid life's hardships and endless demands? Buddha replied, compassion thrives when grounded in mindfulness, nurtured by gratitude and shared as a limitless force bridging hearts. He gestured toward the crowded market, teeming with merchants, buyers, and exchanges, symbolizing life's dynamic, interconnected energy. Every transaction of food, wealth, or words carries opportunities for mindful compassion, enriching life's tapestry of mutual dependency, Buddha said. The disciples observed the market with newfound perception, seeing human actions through Buddha's lens of interconnectedness and compassionate intent. Buddha turned toward Ananda, saying, compassion balances excess and deficiency, its presence fostering harmony in both inner and outer worlds. Ananda nodded, reflecting on how mindfulness and compassion elevated nourishment beyond sustenance into purposeful, shared existence. Buddha approached a merchant selling fruits, purchasing some, and offering them to nearby villagers, their smiles reflecting gratitude. This exchange exemplifies mindful action, embedding generosity in everyday interactions, cultivating seeds of kindness and unity, Buddha explained thoughtfully. A disciple asked, Master, how can mindful eating challenge greed and selfishness within ourselves and society at large? Buddha replied, mindful eating begins with self-awareness, radiating outward as shared compassion. softening greed's edge and dissolving selfish inclinations. He added, the roots of greed weaken under mindfulness, allowing compassion to grow and nourish humanity's interconnected garden. The disciples reflected deeply, letting Buddha's insights stir within them, transforming their perspective on nourishment and shared living. Buddha encouraged the group to meditate, focusing on the act of sharing and its transformative power on both giver and receiver. They sat in quiet contemplation, their thoughts harmonizing with life's rhythms. Guided by Buddha's words and the energy of compassion, Buddha noticed a beggar sitting alone, his face weary yet quietly hopeful, his presence a silent plea for connection. He approached the man, offering food and kind words, demonstrating compassion's power to restore dignity and warmth. To give is to remember humanity's shared nature, healing isolation and nurturing unity amid life's diverse challenges, Buddha said gently. The beggar responded with gratitude, his smile revealing the profound impact of Buddha's mindful, compassionate gesture. The disciples witnessed this interaction, inspired to carry mindfulness and compassion into their lives, both individually and collectively. Buddha continued walking through Sravasti, connecting with villagers, merchants, and beggars, his actions a living embodiment of mindful eating. Every step reflected Buddha's teachings, interweaving nourishment, balance, and compassion into life's unfolding narrative. The disciples followed Buddha's example, distributing food, kindness, and understanding across Sravasti's streets, their hearts expanded by mindful giving. Buddha addressed the group again, saying, compassion transcends immediate hunger. It feeds the soul, bridging divides and nurturing collective harmony. He added, mindful eating transforms into mindful living, uniting awareness, generosity, and joy into every shared act of existence. The day ended with a shared meal, disciples and villagers dining together, their connection strengthened through Buddha's teachings. As twilight enveloped Sravasti, Buddha's words resonated like a melody, guiding all toward mindful, compassionate action in everyday life. Buddha reflected on his disciples' growth, their hearts attuned to nourishment's deeper purpose rooted in balance and shared humanity. The teachings continued to ripple outward, shaping lives and fostering mindfulness and compassion across villages, cities, and generations. Another day, another journey began, Buddha leading his disciples toward deeper understanding and broader connections within life's intricate tapestry. Ananda, life flows moment by moment, like these grains of soil. He added, mindful attention, like this earth, grounds you in what is real and allows illusions to pass without disturbance. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.